we're probably the only species that, like, you know, is so confused about who you are or what you got to do or what your purpose is or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, if you just really simplify that, and I know it's so easy to say, you know what I mean? But if you just simplify that and just don't take everything so serious, don't take everything so serious, man. Like we're just passing through.
Yeah.
Help as many people and change as many people's lives and do as much good as you can. But I mean, we're just passing through, man. Certain things in life, man, they have a way of like changing you and knocking you down. And like I've been through some situations where it's just like, you almost kind of lose all hope for people. And if we go down, we ain't staying down.
I'm right there with you, bro.
You know what I mean? Like, and life is gonna life, right? Like life is gonna knock you all down, like knock you around and everything, man. A place of peace is a work of art.
And you're trying to live that.
And I'm trying to live that. So it starts with me, right? So that place of peace has to be this first, right?
Yes.
So, I'm a work in progress, always will be. But if I can find peace in everything that happens to me, in every situation, and every, thing like that, then I can be at peace, which means I can create peace in the world. How much time out of your day is spent just not even doing anything you want to do, and like going from one destination to the next, or whatever,
one problem to the next,
whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And man, can I get like just some simple time to just listen to that music I was talking about earlier,
outside, God's nature,
God's music, you know what I mean? And just enjoy life, man. Like that's my goal. That's what I want to do. That's what the peace, you know what I mean? That's what I want to achieve.
Amen, man. Amen. 100%. For all the viewers and listeners out there, so Michael, he finds us as Call Tattoo. Shout out Call Tattoo. He was on Real Estate versus Technology. If you want to go check that out, you can on the Real Estate versus Technology side. But this is the first time we've ever had someone in the real estate space on the Liftoff Experience podcast. Found us because of a website that Liftoff agent did that pays for all this shit. So that's why, that's why I say I had to give him a shout out, because if it wasn't for our clients at Liftoff, I wouldn't have all the fancy shit in this room. But I guess we're doing something right. So I appreciate you finding us, man, and just giving me an opportunity to talk to you.
I appreciate it too. This is my first podcast, so I'm excited to be here.
Let's go, bro. Let's go. I remember I was talking to her. Like, I was like, I don't know, man. I was talking to my wife, and she was just like, do it.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I got nothing to say.
Right. Like, I didn't think that anything I had to say is particularly like interesting that people would want to watch. But yeah, my wife was like, why not do it?
Dude, the first thing I got to say, I'm just going to give you kudos on my end, because I'm just someone that, we just met. We don't know each other.
Right.
And he's coming in talking about like your label, not what was it, labels, and also talking about like fasting, and you're talking about your diet, but not diet from the perspective of like, what is that? I'm gonna give it a shout out Red Zen Tea, my wife's tea over here. We got some matcha lattes.
This is delicious.
Oh, so good. You guys gotta check it out.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about tea and then talking about fasting, but then Michael's like, no, fasting's more than just fucking eating. It's everything.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, I do a lot of fasting. I was telling you before too.
Yeah.
Like, I had some health issues a while ago, and no doctor could figure it out or nothing like that.
Okay.
And, I kind of got to the mode where it's like I got to be my own doctor. Like, you got to really be focused on healing yourself. Can't rely on nobody else to heal you, right? So I did a 6-day juice fast.
Okay.
This was probably maybe 8 years ago at this point.
Okay.
And all my problems went away, and I healed myself, and I was cool. So since then, I've been trying to do like at least a 2 or 3 day fast, like every season. Right. And and that's cool. And that's fasting. Right. But then I also realized fasting is more than just what you eat. Right. Fasting is who you hang around, what you watch, what you listen to, all the different things that you consume. Right. So, anything that's taking up space in your day or your time or your brain or anything like that, if it's counterproductive to what you're trying to do. You need to fast from it.
All right. First off, I like to shine light on Liftoff, personally, professionally, spiritually. I'm gonna give you a little rounds of applause real quick. I gotta say, congratulations from the perspective. And did you hear that? Let me get a little closer to you. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Fasting 6 days cured himself. Can we go a little deeper into like what kind of shit were you dealing with? Because if anyone's watching right now and they're going through something similar, I just want to like the whole premise of this is like let's just give and just serve anybody out there that maybe it's like they're suffering right now, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. So I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Okay, you ever been there?
Nah, man. I might have to go check it out.
Yeah, check it out.
I will.
So like, in the Midwest, you're heavy on beer,
Okay.
you're heavy on fried food, you're heavy on
Makes
dairy,
sense.
you're heavy on a lot of those things. When me and my wife decided to move to Arizona, I was about 40 pounds heavier than I am now.
Wow.
I was a little bit bigger. And she at the time was pregnant with my son, and she had some complications, and we had a very stressful period where it was kind of touch and go.
Yeah.
And so the stress of moving across country is a lot.
Yeah, just add that to the mix.
Right. The stress of what my wife was going through with my unborn son was a lot.
Yeah.
And then I also had deviated septum surgery
Really?
in 2015. I had gotten into a car accident a couple of years before, busted my nose on the dashboard because like an idiot I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. So I wasn't able to breathe.
Yeah.
Right. So I came out here, all that stuff. Plus I did that surgery. And of course, when they're done putting you on surgery, they put you on antibiotics. Antibiotics kill all of your gut. Like it just
I didn't even think about that shit.
ruins your gut.
Interesting. Okay.
And I didn't think about that either. I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, what do I know? So, from what I've read since then, you should take a heavy duty probiotic at the same time you're taking an antibiotic just to kind of neutralize it. I didn't know that. So anyway, I started losing weight like crazy.
Yeah.
I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, I don't even recognize myself.
Damn.
Like, I don't know what's going on. I went to
Yeah.
every doctor. They couldn't tell me nothing. So that's where I realized, okay, you know what? I can't rely on nobody else. I got to heal myself.
Yeah.
So I started reading and people telling me about doing a fast. Right. So I started researching on how to do a fast. There was this juice bar. It's not. I don't think it's here anymore. It was on Gilbert and Ocotillo, I think.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. And they would prepare a fast for you. They would do a 3-day juice fast for you.
Yeah.
And I said, well, can I do two, like back
There
to
you go.
back?
Yeah.
Two like back to back, like 6 days.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And they were like, yeah, cool. So I did it. I didn't know nothing about it. It was like 6 juices a day. And then the rest of the time, just drink spring water.
Yeah.
And I would put key lime in there because key lime is alkaline.
I like that.
And so I did that. And probably by like day 3, day 4, I just felt amazing.
Wow.
I felt light as a feather. I felt like all my pain that was in my stomach was gone. Everything was gone. So now I try like every season to do like a 2-3 day water fast.
Man, I gotta say I love that, bro. And I think a big thing people don't understand is that we make it so complicated by the things that we do, and it gets even more complicated because when you were out in the kitchen real quick, and we are just talking to my daughter just got home. It's a Friday, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's an early day for her. And we're talking. You're like, I'm a label guy. You start looking at the label.
Yeah.
And if you look at these labels, what comes to my mind is when you look at a label and you look at like, say, potato chips or any of the processed foods, there's so many things. It's like, how long would it take you just to look them all up to find out what they are and if they're good for you, whatever else?
Well, I've actually done that. There's certain ingredients sometimes, and you're like, what is that? You look it up, and it's like a floor cleaner you can buy at Home Depot, and it's in your kid's cereal.
You know what I heard too? Same but different on the fucking energy drinks.
Yeah.
Hey, no disrespect to no energy drink, but I heard Celsius has it.
Yeah.
They take the sludge off the top of at the shit factory. They take the sludge off. They turn it into some type of chemical. They put it inside the energy drinks, and they just repurpose the sludge off your shit.
And you know what's better than that? Like to drink than Celsius?
What's that?
Matcha.
Let's go.
My man.
Let's go. Where's you know what? I don't even know. No, I don't want that one. But we have different vibes with both of the shows. We're on like the vibe for like the real estate versus tech. So
Yeah.
on the Liftoff experience, I have like the cha-ching. I'm like,
Oh, okay.
damn, I don't got my cha-ching right
You
now,
need it,
bro.
man. You need that.
God, for the money.
Yeah.
But no, it's true because
Yeah.
what's in matcha? Matcha.
Yeah.
It's just
That's it.
literally a
That's it.
plant.
Yeah. And then if you maybe want to put like some coconut milk on top, some organic coconut milk or something like
Yes.
that, like yeah, that's perfect. And it gets you a good kind of energy, not like
The
the
jittery
jittery.
and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
feel you on that. But
Right.
no, that's crazy that you were going through that because I was talking before we got on.
Mhm.
So for those of you who don't know, I was diagnosed with colitis, and I had all these issues. I had blood in my stool. I was losing a bunch of weight. I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" I was in my 20s, and of course, I was under some stress as well. And starting up my company, doing my thing, nightclub promotions on like the weekends, and I'm
Right.
selling weed, whatever I got to do just to be able to make it.
Yeah.
And so I remember my business partner, shout out Smith, he comes into the hospital, get it all checked out, put the camera up the ass, do all that crap. And they're like, yeah, gonna be on medication for the rest of your life,
Nah.
this, that, and the other thing. And I said, fuck that. I think taking it back, I think I did start with fasting.
Yeah.
I think I did.
You have to.
And then I just really just looked at everything that I was eating and asked myself, what am I committed
And
to?
it's tough to do, not only just because like it's physically tough to do, but
Yeah.
like, you know, like I just did a fast probably like 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
2, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just a quick like 2, 3 day water fast. And people start looking at you like, are you sick? Like
Oh, that's
like
true.
you're skinny. Like what like what's going on with you? And like, no, I'm fasting. And then they're like, fasting? Why would you do that? Like why would you deliberately not eat?
Yeah.
Because what were we taught growing up in this country? Eat 3 square meals a day. You know what I
Breakfast
mean?
is the most important meal of the
And
day.
what's breakfast typically in this country? It's like pancakes, sausage, like,
Yeah.
bacon. So like I was saying, man, for anybody out there dealing with that kind of stuff, start off with, taking a deep dive in what you're doing, what you're putting in your body, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, be honest with yourself. Like what is not good for you. And talking about being like a label reader, I'll probably annoy the hell out of my wife, because every time,
Look at all the labels and shit.
yeah, yeah, like she'll come home with all the groceries. I'm like, this ain't good, this ain't good, this ain't good. And she's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh my God, what can we eat?
I love it. But hey, at the end of the day, it's like you better be safe and sorry and look and see what's in there. And it is what it is.
But it's a shame that we even have to go through all that.
Well, the thing that I think is like, whether you're, Democrat, Republican, whatever, whoever you voted,
Mhm.
I'm just grateful that finally we're going to actually have like the dyes and everything checked in the foods because
Right.
apparently, that's what they're going to be working on next.
And what's wild is like, I don't understand why that was never like brought up before
Yeah.
in any of these presidential elections. Like,
You know what I'm
why
saying?
was that never like one of the talking points? Like, it's always the same thing. It's always, well, I'm gonna cut taxes, I'm gonna do this, and it's
Yeah.
always like the same bullet points that everybody says, and nobody ever really does,
Yes.
and nobody ever talks about that. A lot of our food in this country, you can't even eat in other countries.
Yeah. You're just
They
following
don't
a
even
script.
allow it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just got back from the Philippines. So my
Yeah.
teams in the Philippines was out there last month. Get back from the Philippines, and I don't know, and maybe there's a lot of fiber or something, but every single morning, do my fast. I feel good. By the end of the day, I don't know if this is a positive or negative. I just always felt so bloated. So I don't know if maybe there's extra fiber or what's going on in the
Talking about when you were
Philippines.
over there, you
When I
felt
was
like
over
that?
there,
Okay.
like every single night, I just felt extra gassy and bloated,
Wow.
and it was interesting. And I was trying to like analyze what it is because I want to do more traveling around the world too
Right.
to figure out what's up. Because my biggest thing is if like we're supposed to be America and we're supposed to be one of the strongest nations in the world, why aren't we not taking care of our people to
Right.
make sure that we are the strongest in the world? We don't
You want me
know.
to tell you why?
Go ahead.
All right, because we don't live in a country. We live in a corporation.
Ooh.
All right. So like, the what should be on the flag is the dollar sign, right? Like that's what we care about in this country.
Yeah,
Right.
I
So
agree.
keeping you healthy isn't as profitable as keeping you sick,
Yeah.
right? Sucks to say, but that's the truth, right? So, you know, in in this country, taking care of yourself is a rebellious act.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It
Like
is.
like like actually distancing yourself from negativity or people who don't provide you peace or situations that don't provide you peace is a rebellious act.
Bro, that was fire, bro. That was fire. And put it this way, I'm curious. I get that. And this is the interesting part. It's like, and I'm just going to call it for what it is, a bunch of bitches because if we were all equally had the same exact equal opportunity, and they gave everyone the education from financial literacy to balancing your books to everything, reading, writing, everything, and you're like, all right, cool.
Right.
We're all going to start number one here at the start line. Let's see who finishes and have it as a competition, because at the end of the day, the government, wouldn't you want people to be fucking making more money with their businesses, to be able to make more profit for the actual country itself, and not make it about bringing people down to a point where they can barely even fucking breathe, or they're overweight to a point where it's just like,
yeah. And I agree with you with all that. The only thing I would probably challenge is the competition part, because like one of the talking points that you always hear with these presidential elections and things like that is crime. Like
yeah,
I'm gonna solve crime. I'm gonna tell you how to solve crime right now.
let's go.
For anybody listening, I'm gonna tell you how
Yeah.
to solve crime. Get rid of poverty,
Mm.
right? Because when you're in survival mode and when you're thinking about where your next meal is coming from, all of your morals go out the window
Yep.
because you don't care.
Yep.
Like, because my neck, I'm focusing on feeding myself, feeding my family, feeding whoever, and I'll do anything I can to do it.
100%.
Right. So, like, even me, I'm in a much more comfortable place right now than I was 10, 15 years ago. So that means I'm also a completely different guy.
Yeah. You were talking about that before we got on the air.
Yeah. So, like 10, 15 years ago, something like that, I was a lot more grimy than I am now. And I could be capable of a lot worse things than now. Now I don't have to do none of that because I'm comfortable, financially, right? So
Yeah.
you want to get rid of crime, get rid of poverty.
Interesting. I love that, man. I love that straight up lift off moment right there. Because at the end of the day, it's unfortunate that we have, and you could tell from the power of B that the system's broken.
Right.
Everything from the obesity to the individuals on the streets, like it's broken. And I'm really hoping, because of what happened, and I'll be real, like I voted for Trump. I'm hoping that what's going to happen moving forward, they're going to shift and we're going to change, and we're going to start seeing people being able to be uplifted, get rid of the whole ideologies of Black Lives Matters and sex this and this, that, and the other thing, and just like, hey, we're people, we're humans, we all deserve equal opportunities, we all deserve education, we all deserve to be able to have the same fucking rules for everyone. They should all apply the same, but they don't.
And the thing is like you said, like the system is broken. It's broken for us.
Yeah.
But the people who are creating the system, it ain't broken for them.
No.
Like it's perfectly the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like they designed it that way, and they're happy with it, right? It's broken for everybody, on our level.
Exactly.
So yeah, man. At the end of the day, voting is cool, but I vote. I'm gonna have the same vote every election, and that's I'm voting for God.
Ooh.
God is the only one that I rely on to save me.
I love it.
Donald Trump ain't gonna save me.
Nope.
Harris ain't gonna save me. Nobody, no other man, woman, whatever, is gonna save me. So I keep my faith in God, and that's the way I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna keep on doing what I do every day, raising my family, and just
dude, lift off right there, bro.
Forward that way.
I love, and that's what it is. You got to like take care of, and people out there get so cloudy about, oh, did you hear this? Did you hear that? And the gossip and all the bullshit. But at the end of the day, if you just trust in God and you look around you and you're serving and you're showing up and you're loving on those that you can love on, that's what it's about. Because this is the thing, like we met for a strategy session, right? And I was 100% transparent with you. I told you exactly who we are, what we're doing, what it looks like. Here's the pricing. And I said, hey, and you say, hey, we're at the budget ain't gonna make sense right now. I might go in this direction. We'll see what happens if I come back later. I said, no worries. You want to be on a podcast?
Right, exactly.
Like, let's go deeper, bro.
And I was just like, what am I gonna talk about? I've never been on a podcast. Like, why would anybody want to hear from me? Like, But I mean, I was super grateful, and here I am, and I'm, I love the setup that you're doing. I
appreciate you, bro.
I applaud it, man. You're doing your thing. I love it.
And it's crazy too because so my wife and I see these numbers, right? And everyone has their own beliefs and what have you. And when I look at these numbers, it could be like 111, 333, 717, whatever else. And I see a lot of sevens. Seven's kind of like, I look at that as like my angel number. And I didn't say nothing to you, but we're in the kitchen and on the stove, it said 333. Yeah. And as soon as we walked out to come in here, I briefly saw my wife's phone. It said 111.
So, what's crazy? I actually have screenshots on my phone.
Huh.
Every time I look at my phone and it says 11:11 or it
Really?
says 4:44. I get 4:44 a lot too. So
Ah.
I'm telling you, I probably have over 100 screenshots in my phone from every time. There was a while during my life where it was actually
Wow.
kind of spooky how often I would just like look at my phone or look at a clock and it would say 11:11. So like I said, it got to the point where it was actually spooky, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, I would just kind of like dismiss it, not really pay no attention.
Okay.
But then you got to start to pay attention to what are you doing during that time?
Correct.
What are you doing during that time when that happens, right? And I don't know like how deep you go into it or whatever like that, but like I've gotten through a lot of things in my life. I've survived a lot of things in my life that I shouldn't have.
Mm.
Right. And I know it ain't because of me. Like I didn't do anything to
Yep.
like I wasn't smart and like navigating through it. Like
Yep.
to be honest, a lot of it I was really fucking stupid. Like I probably should have like, had some kind of repercussions
You're
for
taking
it.
me back, bro.
Yeah, so
Taking me
like
back, bro.
I had I had no father figure after 10, right? So my father was still alive, but he was dealing with his own issues.
Yeah, yeah.
So then around 11 and 12, this amazing guy came into my life,
Mm.
and he was this close to becoming my stepdad,
Wow.
and then he got killed.
Damn.
So since then, I feel like I got somebody up there
Yeah, yeah.
navigating me through this.
Yeah, yeah.
So every time I see an 11:11 or a 4:44 or something
Mm.
like that, I got you. I
Uh,
got you. That's you. I know that's you.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I associate. I mean, I'm sure everybody's got their own, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, but that's mine.
Dude, I love that, bro. I love that. Talk about liftoff moment, man. At the end of the day, that's where I feel like it's so beautiful, right? Like there's different, everyone has their own perspective on stuff. And so I
Right.
love hearing different perspectives.
I do too.
And I'm right there with you. For me, I always, it's the same thing. I'll see the number and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm on the right path. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'm doing the right thing. Okay,
Right.
cool. Cause like my wife, she grew up, she was huge in religion was huge for her. So she went to Bible study. She went to church with her mom. Then she got into choir. Then she started doing the missionary thing, and she was big in it. And she always was curious about what else is out there, and want to learn more about Jesus and this, because like you could read the book and there's amazing things in it,
Mhm.
and there's things that we could tap into that we don't need to read on, that we can actually like when you start praying and you get deeper and you look at the signs. And so my wife and I, we picked up a book called Law of the Universe.
Okay.
And so Abraham Hicks' Law of the Universe, and it talks about these different like laws.
Yeah.
And then I went a little bit further, and then I read this book, Paul Selig. And a big thing he talks about is I am. And so I have I am love, I am word.
Yeah.
And they say like the two most powerful things is I am,
Yeah.
right? And then when you say I am love or I am tired, like and like they say, if you say something like that's affirmations,
Right.
anything you say out your mouth.
Yeah.
And so so I've been going through this journey, and she's been going through this journey, and then now she has the sound bowls, and she's doing sound bowls with her teas to, because she's has like this calling that she eventually wants to basically heal people through tea,
Hmm.
and be able to say, here's the tea, drink it, and it actually heals your body, because technically you can drink tea on a fast, which is kind of
Yeah.
crazy. I'm just putting that
Right.
together right now.
Hmm.
And she's like, where are you at, and this and that, and I'm like, the podcast.
Right.
Because I did 450 episodes, and it's like, okay, cool, coaches, technology, real estate, okay, cool. And I'm like, there's something more. And so that's where I'm like, how can I get into a deeper conversation from a spiritual type sense, right? And then I want to tie in the spiritual side and the business side and bring it together,
Cool.
and not make it so standard operating procedure,
Right.
key performance indicator, and make it more, make it warm.
For sure. Yeah. So like, speaking of healing, I mean, that's like the inspiration, providing inspiration to people and then providing healing to people, I think are like two of the like coolest things and most valuable things you can do.
Amen.
So like, you got a young child. I got a 10-year-old boy at home, and he's always asking me those 10-year-old boy questions. Dad, if you
Right?
could have any superpower, what would you have? Like what
Ooh,
would you pick? Would you pick
I
this,
love
or
that. I
would
love
you
that.
pick strength or speed, or whatever? So like he was just like, Dad, if you could pick three superpowers, what would they be?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just like, well, I don't know about all three. I'd have to really think about it, but I know for sure I would choose to try to be able to have the power to heal people,
I love it.
right? And then so then I can't remember what the other two are, but then I went on my day and I started, just going about my day, thinking about what I'm thinking about. And I circled back to that conversation with my son, and I was just like, I do have that power. You have that power.
Amen.
Your wife has that power. My son has that power. We all have that power to heal
Amen.
people. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like
Yes.
in whatever way you choose to try and heal people, I mean, just figure it out and and do it. Like you don't have to have, quote unquote superpowers to do it, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
now I'm getting into real estate. My brand is Masterpiece Real
Shout out.
Estate.
Let's go. Let's go.
So like that's my way of trying to provide some kind of healing, right? Because like I think at the end of the day, like you were talking about before, no matter what political line you fall on, whatever you fall on, I think at the end of the day we all kind of want the same thing. We want
Exactly.
safety for our family. We want
Yes.
a good life. We want peace,
Yeah.
right? So if I'm selling real estate, if I can provide you that peaceful place. One of my first transactions, I sold a house to this older lady in South Chandler,
Okay.
and beautiful lady, great lady. And after I sold the house to her, about 3 months later, I called to check in with her, right? And I was kind of nervous, right? Because
Yeah.
it's one of my first transactions. What if I call her and she's just like, "This house is falling
I
apart.
can imagine all the thoughts going through your head.
Yeah, this house is falling apart. I can't afford the mortgage. Whatever. I'm just all the negative thoughts that I've grown up being accustomed to,
Of course.
manifesting and being part of my brain.
Yep.
So I call her up and I say, "Hey, look, it's been a couple months. Just want to check in on you, see how you doing and everything like that. How you living the house?" And man, she says, "I'm in heaven."
Wow.
She says, "This is so peaceful. I'm at peace." And I was just like, I want every transaction to be that,
Wow.
right? I want every transaction to be that. So I was like, if I can, try to provide that for everybody that I come across, that's what I'm gonna try to do. So that's my whole thing.
Powerful, bro. Let's go. We got, man, there's a ton of fucking liftoff moments in here, man. Damn. No, I love that, bro. One thing that comes up for me is love, man.
Oh, for sure.
It's like so basically like so we get kind of deep with it, right? And this could, some people could say this is woo woo. Okay, it's not your traditional teaches like, so for me, and this is just my ideology. Okay, you could be religious, but religious doesn't mean you're spiritual, in my
True.
opinion,
True.
right? And when you're spiritual, it's different from the perspective of praying or seeing the angel numbers, right? Like you kind of just like there's this all knowing, right? And when you're religious, you're like, okay, I'm doing the Daniels fast. Okay, I'm going to church on Sunday. Okay, I'm following all the rules, right? And I feel like true, for me, in my opinion, spirituality has no construct of rules. Rules are constructs that are made up by the third dimension, which we live in, and the construct of man. Man makes up, in my opinion, rules of law as
Right.
far as rules. And so I'm reading this book. It's You Are a Channel. And so this is a little bit of a woo-woo conversation here, but my wife started reading the book, so I started reading the book.
Mhm.
And the book talks about angel numbers and seeing the signs. Talked about her brother fucking got like murdered or some shit. And he's like, she was at the funeral and she was talking about how next thing you know, she was going from crying in the whole night to hearing almost like her brother in her ear.
Mhm.
And she was listening. And next thing you know, her brother said, like, I'm okay. I'm at peace.
Mm.
And then she was like, I'm crazy. I did not just hear that. And it was sometime in the future. She was like in the elevator and she heard the word come up again, ask him his name. And it was like, hi, what's your name? Some stranger in the elevator. Oh, like John. And John was her brother's name.
Right.
Right. So she got to a point where she started to like take three deep breaths and started to just write down on her notebook basically what came to her mind.
Mm.
Free writing.
Mm.
And so basically, I'm on my 6th day of free writing and I've recorded myself and I put it onto social media past 3 days. You can go at Mr. Liftoff and check it out yourself. And like, I just listen and the words that come into my mind, I just write on the paper.
Mm.
And all the messages have been about love.
Oh, wow.
Fucking crazy, bro.
That's cool.
It's so I can feel it right now. You know what I'm saying? You get that feeling that like
Yeah.
kind of like shivers down your
Yeah,
back
yeah,
and
yeah,
shit, bro.
yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm just going down the journey to see what's up. because I know my wife, she's going through a lot of healing right now. She went to a networking meeting yesterday and she found some quantum healer or some shit. Some
Okay.
66-year-old woman who does these fucking classes for $500 and it's like quantum healing.
Wow.
And she wants to go deeper because like her ex-boyfriend, like he died in a car crash because he was big into racing and shit. And like
Right.
she kind of cheated on him and some other stuff that went down. And so she has unfinished business. She's trying to like, and then we just lost dad Jimmy, like 2 years ago, and
Okay.
we moved out here and he was out here, and
Oh wow.
but he never drank no water. He was big into golf,
Uh-huh.
drinking,
Uh-huh.
smoking,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he was living hard.
Yeah.
He was 60, 64, 63, and unfortunately, God bless his heart, his soul, like he took the COVID shot, started getting some chest pains, and fucking done.
Oh no.
And we think it's after like the booster, he fucking was just like,
Oh no.
and she's still connected to him because she didn't really have a father. Like her father is still here today. He lives here, thank God. But different relationship, and the mom and the dad, they split up because they're
Right.
real young and shit. And then this father figure, Jimmy, like
Right.
took her like his own. So she was very just like over the moon about that, and she just loved him dearly. And then after
Yeah.
losing him, she's just been distraught about it. So
Right.
it's just like, well, can you channel him? I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you have a conversation with them and tap in? And she says like in some of the books and the practices, you have that thought vibration of like, okay, the memories of him, or you get something like, oh, these are his glasses he loves, and you
Right.
hold them, you touch them, you put them on, and then you take two three breaths, and you like. So I've been doing the channel text, or the channel writing, and then posting it, but I haven't said one word
You know,
about what, like, to anyone
it's
about it besides just you just now and my wife.
yeah. See, it's funny, like, we talk about death and stuff like that, right? So, like, you just said a little bit ago that, like, some of these laws are man-made that we
Yeah.
become accustomed to. And unfortunately, I've had to deal with a certain amount of death in my life.
Mm,
And I read a quote one time. I'm really big into books too. Books changed my life.
I'm right there with you.
I got a whole library at home. I
Let's
mean,
go.
I could sit here and talk about books for hours. But I read in a book one time that death is nothing but a transition. It's a little bit more intense than puberty, but nothing to
Mm-hmm.
get too excited about, right? So, like, if you think about death, and this is just my feeling about it, right?
Good.
So, like we're the ones that are like selfish about it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we want to hold on to our loved ones. We want to, but if you love anybody, you're gonna have to deal with loss,
Amen.
right? You're
Yeah.
gonna deal with loss. Um, you can't hold on to your wife, to your parents, to your kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
to whatever forever,
Mm.
right? So, um, you know, I feel that like when somebody dies, especially somebody that you love, and you never really lose them. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And that's why, like, you talk about stories that give you chills. When I was 13, I lost my stepdad. That's when he got killed.
Damn.
Um, when I was 16, I was working as a cashier at Arby's
Mm.
back in Milwaukee, and I'm just sitting there or standing there at the cashier. This guy walks in, and I remember thinking, wow, he looks a lot like David, my stepdad. But I didn't really think too much of it, right? Took the guy's order, everything like that. Later on that night, we're all cleaning up. My
Mm.
manager is like, hey, Mike, this guy left a comment card for you.
Mm.
I look at the comment card, it's the exact same name as my stepdad.
What?
I have the screenshot on my phone. I can show you. It's got the exact same name as my stepdad. So I asked my manager. I said, "Can I take this home?" He's like, "Yeah, it's yours. I don't care." So I take it home. My mom has a scrapbook of pictures of him, notes he left to her. We put the comment card next to like little notes he wrote for my mom.
Yeah.
Exact same handwriting. He had like 8 or 9 brothers and sisters. We called one of them over. He was just like, "Yeah, that's his handwriting." Now, on comment cards, they have addresses and phone numbers that you fill out.
Yeah.
And he filled out the address and the phone number. So we called the number, it was dead.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, like if you have somebody, you're talking about with your wife, or anybody like that you love and that they loved you, and you lost them, they died,
Yeah. Yeah.
you ain't losing.
Damn. That's crazy, bro. Yeah, I was what was I? Probably 5 or 6 with my daughter's age, and my grandfather, my mom, and I were having Mexican food, and my grandfather started getting heartburn, so my mom left. She went to the store to go get some heartburn medication, and he had this recliner, and he had like one TV here and then a TV here. I used to sit on his lap, and he would always have two games on. So if it two football, baseball, whatever games. And he was big on flea markets. I go help him the flea markets and stuff, and he had all his playing cards and what have you. And God bless him, Salvador. He massive heart attack in front of my face.
Oh, wow.
I'm all by myself. And there was things that happened where like he would only take a shower once a month, but then for some reason the shower turned on. Or like I had this little RC car, and the RC car started doing its thing or whatever else, and they saw like a silhouette of him or whatever. And I was talking to my wife about this, like literally today, I think it was. I said something about like before I read this book about channeling, I said, yeah, it must have just been like unfinished business, taking his last shower or whatever else. But then what came to me was no, he was trying to communicate probably to me and to also my aunt and my mom and what have you, my grandma, because I mean, you know, I'm so young. I didn't even know how to process it myself.
Right,
And my
right,
parents were like, you know, do you know what happened?
right.
Like, do you understand this? And like, you know, and so on and so forth. And so now today I'm like, he just was trying to communicate and just be like, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Pay attention to those moments, man, because like we move through this life so fast, man.
So
Like we're
fast.
constantly busy. We're constantly doing stuff, and like, man, sometimes if you just sit still, like listen. You know who the best music you can listen to?
Mm.
Just go outside.
Ooh.
Just go outside. You hear the birds chirping, you hear the wind blowing through the trees, you hear, people talking and walking past you, you hear, whatever. You know what I mean? Jesus or God or whoever you believe in, he's a composer. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like it's just beautiful, right?
Liftoff right there.
Yeah, man. And you can just, you can hear your loved ones, you can feel your loved ones that have passed on and stuff like that. I firmly believe that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'll be up in this house just in general, like in the living room and I'm like watching TV or some shit. I'm like in the kitchen, you kind of like,
Yeah.
I saw something. And then I remember
Yeah.
my wife was coming in the garage and Jordan was like 2 or 3. She saw, Mommy, who's that man?
Yeah.
She's like, what are you talking about? What man? He's
Right.
right there.
Right.
And so, you know, because kids, animals, they're more susceptible to, you know, to seeing or feeling things.
Hmm.
And so yes, I definitely feel like it was funny too because we Airbnb upstairs,
Okay.
and one of the reviews was just like, yeah, there's a ghost in the house, but it's a friendly ghost though.
My wife is big into that, man. We just moved to a new house, and she was talking about how like our previous house had a guardian
Okay.
in the house,
Yeah.
and she was just like, before we left that house, we had to talk to the guardian and make
Mm.
sure that it was okay that we moved to the next house. So yeah, we're,
Ah,
we're all we're all really into that, man.
that's amazing. Yeah, we got the sage and do all that type of
We do
stuff
too.
too.
We do
Yeah.
too. So when we moved into the new house, we saged. My wife is incredibly social, so she invites people over a lot. I'm not, but she invites people over a lot. So anytime we have large gatherings,
Yeah.
right away the next day we sage the house and stuff like that. So
Interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. So check this concept. So in the book, it talks about this philosophy, and it said that and people use these analogies too, like when it comes to like our pets, like a
Mhm.
dog or a cat. Like I was like Ryan Serhant, right? Big
Mhm.
real estate mogul, right? He was just on a podcast. I don't even think he thought about it like this, but he's like, yeah, like sometimes I feel like I'm not doing ever. It's never enough, or I'm never as important I want to be. And he for a long time viewed his success as how important he is. And he's going through this whole process as he obviously has more success and just gets older or whatever. And he's like, yeah, dog could just sit there and the dog's just happy and it's totally fine. It's just good. The dog doesn't need nothing, just
Right.
food, water, it's wagging his tail, ready for a walk. It's all good.
Mhm.
And so in the book, it talks about how animals are here to put things in perspective for us to slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And not only that, but if you think about it, like a lion never has to worry about, like a lion never has to wake up like, what am I gonna do today? Like, let me check my calendar to see what I got going on next week. You know what I mean? Like, elephant never has to worry about what's on schedule for next month. What do we got going on next month? No,
So
it
true.
wakes up and knows exactly who they are, exactly what they got to do. So, like, we're probably the only species that, like, you know, is so confused about who you are or what you got to do or what your purpose is or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if you just really simplify that, and I know it's so easy to say, you know what I mean? But if you just simplify that and just don't take everything so serious, this coming from a guy who is pretty serious most of the time. But like, I mean, just don't take everything so serious, man. Like we're just passing through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're here for a cup of coffee. Like
So true.
in the grand scheme of things, we're here for five.
Yeah.
We're here for 5 minutes, man. You know what I mean? Make that 5 minutes as meaningful and as great as you can, and try to help as many people and change as many people's lives and do as much good as you can. But I mean, we're just passing through, man.
I love that. I love that. Little quick side story. It's funny you say that because I remember I first met you and I was just like the energy you give off is kind of like this like what's up type of energy
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? Like this is the fuck I need to know. You
Hmm.
know, tell me what I need to know.
Hmm.
This is why I'm here. On to the next. Like you have like this no bullshit kind of like
Yeah. Yeah.
demeanor about you.
Sure.
But for some reason, and one thing that I'm challenging myself on is, you know, don't judge, right?
Hmm.
And just be coming from love.
Hmm.
And then I was like, man, I don't know why, but I'm feeling a calling to get you on the podcast. I'm
That
like,
was cool.
I want to go deeper for some reason. I want to go deeper in this conversation. You're in Arizona.
Yeah.
You know, I got this in-person studio. Let's take
Sure.
advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? I do a lot of online shit, but this show is all in person.
Mm.
I want all in person because
Yeah. I
then it's
love
just a
that.
different vibe.
And I'm trying to change that, by the way. Like I'm trying to change the way like I come across,
Yeah, yeah.
and I feel like I've made significant strides in
Okay.
that. Like even my wife has, applauded me for like how I've kind of changed over the years.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to be a lot worse, but I've been trying to change that,
That's what's
and
up.
just being more approachable and more, um, just more easygoing and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
which makes a lot more sense. At the end of the day, it's like, but it could just be your superpower too. It could be your little extra, you know, it could be something that's just,
Could be.
you know what I'm saying?
Could be. Maybe I'm not supposed to be like that. But it's funny because like I didn't grow up like that. Like when I was a kid,
Really?
when I was like real young, like when I was like 9, 8, something like that,
Yeah.
I was super silly. I was just, happy go lucky, stuff like
Okay,
that.
okay.
Certain things in life, man, they have a way of like changing you and knocking you down. And like
Mm-hmm.
I've been through some situations where it's just like, you almost kind of lose all hope for people. Like, how could somebody do something like that? How could somebody treat me like that? How could that
Yeah,
happen? So then you build up a wall, and that wall is so strong and so tough that nobody can pierce it.
that's true, true.
Not even the people that you love.
Mm,
And it's just like, you know, when you are at home and you feel like a stranger in your own home, your kids can't reach you, your wife can't reach you, your mother can't reach you, whoever else is there can't reach you. And then you go look in the mirror and you're like, well, they can't be the problem.
mm,
They can't be the problem.
yeah,
So you got to do some soul searching. You got to be like, all right, what am I doing? And then like all of a sudden you fall out with your friends. You can't really relate to nobody. When you're going through something, you have nobody to talk to because you didn't close yourself off from everybody. You know what I mean? That's when you got to do some soul searching and look in the mirror and be like, you got to break down that wall for somebody. Somebody. I ain't saying break it down for everybody and just let anybody come into your space
yeah.
because that'll mess up your whole world. But definitely break it down for some people.
Bro, it's crazy you say that because that's exactly me.
Yeah.
That was me. For the longest time, I'd always, in my 20s, building a company, focused, you know, so I'd run through this woman, that woman,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
doing my thing, right? And it was all, you know, all good and fun and shit like that. But like, I don't know. Like I maybe because like I'm right there with you, never really had a father figure either. I was
Mhm.
talking to him last night, supposed to come to Thanksgiving for the first time. And he's not going to be coming now because Lisa, my stepmother, has some stuff going on with her foot, so she has to get surgery or what have you.
Sure.
Um, and so then they're talking some money stuff. This is a side subject. I'll get back to the main story in a second. And then I was just like, come on, January, or whatever. And they're like, well, money, this and that. I'm like, I hate the whole barrier because of money bullshit. It's
Right.
like, I'll pay for it. I don't care.
Right.
Just pick a date.
Yep.
Let's make it happen.
Yep.
And because probably
I've been
because
there.
he, right? Because he probably wasn't in my life. And then like losing my grandfather really young, raised by women, my mom, my aunt, what have you, and diagnosed with a learning disability, tubes in my ears, made fun of the whole nine, used to be really overweight and shit.
Mhm.
Only had a little cat as my best friend. And then like I would say my wife, she was the first person who fucking did that shit for me. And like we got to a point too where I was about to just be like, write her off.
Right.
And she's just like, no,
Yeah.
there's greater purpose for us.
Yeah. It's funny, man. Just listening to you talk, we got a lot of similarities, man. Like, 'cause I was raised by a woman, the strongest person I've ever known.
Mm,
My mother is my hero.
Let's
This
go.
is my 100%
Let's
hero.
go.
She raised me and my older brother by herself, 3 jobs.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Just, supreme hustler. Just a one, like my vision of work ethic, my vision of strength. Um, the only problem with, having a mother who works 3 jobs is, I got all this time to myself.
Yeah.
You
She's out
know,
of the round.
idle hands are the devil's playground,
Mm.
right? So I got into a whole lot of trouble. You know what I mean? I did a whole lot of stuff, right? But it's funny because like even when I would be doing, whatever trouble I'm getting into, I would always have her in my
Mm.
mind, and like I would never go take it too far. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Um, but anyway, going back to that, like, we have a lot of similarities, and it's like, um, same thing. Like when I was going through my thing, and one day I meet my wife, and my wife is literally the most genuine person I've ever met in my entire life.
Wow.
She couldn't like be deceitful if she tried, right? Like she's just super genuine, super authentic, and
Love it.
same thing. I came real close to messing it up in the early days. I came real close, and you know, she just didn't give up on me neither. And
Wow.
and we've been together since. So we've been married now for I think like 12 years or something like that.
Mm.
And like if you'd have known me back in the day, I was never ever getting married, right? Like I'd probably have some kids or something, but I was never getting
Yeah,
married,
we're to
right?
pull out or some shit.
Whatever, yeah. Like, I was never gonna do that. But, you know, this woman came in and just completely changed my life, man. I'm forever in debt. So
Wow.
her and my mother are the strongest people I've ever met in my life, and it's wild because I've hung around with some super scary dudes in
Mm.
my lifetime, and these two are the strongest people I've ever met in my life.
Some of the most scariest ones are the fucking ones that'll fall down super quick,
Right, and
like a
it's just
facade and shit.
like to me, it's not even like what you can do that would make you scary. It's what can you endure
Mm.
that makes you tough,
I like
right?
that.
So like there's that Rocky quote in one of his movies, like where you got to be willing to take the hits,
Yeah.
right?
Amen.
So like one of the things that me and my wife, you know, is we ain't going down. You know what I mean? We ain't and if we go down, we ain't staying down.
I'm right there with you,
You know
bro.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and life is gonna life, right? Like life is gonna knock you all down, like knock you around and everything, man. I ain't staying down
I love that,
at
man.
all.
I love that. I'm right there with you. And like my wife, she was teaching for 16 years, and then we come out here, and then she had to go through that whole psychology of the paycheck and just be dependent on that. And so we got to the fix and flip, and then it was going good for a minute, and then the market just in the last past 2 years, it just went from like amazing to shifting after like the COVID 21, 22, 23. Was really good, shifted, then it not so good some more, and so what happened was like literally last month. And I don't think like said anything to anyone out there like this, but we're about to go to the Philippines. I have a couple investors. One's a good friend of mine, and it's Devin. He was our first guest here at Airbnb in our house, and he moved his 2 daughters out and his Venezuelan wife. And so she's just this like tough as nails type chick, and
Mm-hmm.
she's like, "Does that guy really sit in that office and have that much motivation and blah blah blah? And what is he doing?" And yada yada. So she's like trying to pick my brain and shit.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
And though, so now she's like, Devin, he's like, "Hey, dude, I got like 17,000. I want to invest with you." All right, cool, sure. So you invest with us, right? 1 month goes by. Now it's almost 2 months go by. I'm like, "Hey, dude, I can't use your 17 until we get this cash out. We'll put up 25, 30. You put in the 17. We'll make it happen." And then I was going to give her all the connections, everything. We got everything. Drywall guy, painter, this, that, whatever, electrician. And so we're like 24 hours before leaving the Philippines. We need our money back. And we're like, fuck. I'm like, all right, all right. And so at this point, she needs her money back. And because Devin fell into some taxes that he owed back, he's a union pipe fitter.
Mm-hmm.
And so he owes some taxes for another state or some shit, some state tax bullshit. And so my wife is like freaking out doing a podcast. And she's like, right here, I can feel the energy and shit. And then she calls me, she's crying. She's like, they want their money back. We don't have the money because like we gotta pay lot rent and shit. And we're like, fuck. So I'm like, all right, shit. And like Liftoff separate, I got to partner with that. I'm not trying to like, hey, can I borrow some cash? You know what I'm saying? For this
Right.
other venture that I'm fucking up on
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
ain't working,
Right.
And so, and that's where you got to really swallow your pride. So we say, hey, you know, this is what it is. You're in a contract. You weren't supposed to get your money back until after the close of the first escrow, but we didn't say there's no refund in the midterm. And I said we weren't using the cash. So then we go to the Philippines. We had to get a little working capital loan and move some money around or whatever. And I had to go through all the fucking finances because we wanted to have this LLC, like for the Airbnb and the fix and flip, take care of this whole house. So this house is self-sufficient. That was the whole entire goal. And yeah, talk about ride or die. Like it put a flame up her ass because she's like, fuck, I'm going to push harder for my tea company because now I don't have, because she was just pulling, you know, each month she would pull out her little something, you know, a couple grand for her bills or whatever. Sure. And so, you know, I thank God I have the income so I can start to take all responsibility of those bills back on my personal, you know, income from Liftoff agent. And yeah, man, it was tough for both of us, and we still have the properties on the market sitting, and and we figured out a way to make it work. Yeah. But it's talk about ride or die. If it wasn't for the fact that, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, man upstairs had a plan and said, hey, this is, here you go. You need to be focused on your core shit. And so we are, and it's going good. And then what came up for both of us is like, eventually they'll fall off. Yeah. You know, we're not taking any more investors. Like, we're going to pay everyone back after we're done these 2 flips. And then we want to just get a property up north and just do the Airbnb thing. But like, that's the goal. But we push each other. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm the risk taker. And she's not like that.
Yeah. And I definitely, can relate to that. And if any of her tea tastes like this one, she's going to be super successful because that was delicious.
Dude, she puts a lot of passion in that shit.
That was great. But yeah, me and my wife are the same. The only thing is like with us, like, I'm not going to say afraid, but like, I'm so cautious of jumping.
Yeah.
Right. Cause like, you know, if it was just me, I'd take all the risks in the world, right? But when you got mouths to feed and when you got people looking to you, it's so difficult to jump.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll take risks too. But kind of going back to like I was talking to you about in the kitchen, it took a long time for me to realize that I deserve some shit. And like I was telling you in the kitchen, you know, I when we moved out here, I would drive through my neighborhood and I'm seeing palm trees. I'm seeing freshly manicured HOA grass. I'm seeing, you know, all these beautiful kids playing in the park and stuff like that. And I'd get home and I'd look at my wife. I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. Like, this is more than I deserve. I don't deserve this. And, you know, I had that mentality for a long time. And like after a while, my wife was just like, stop saying that.
Yeah.
You deserve all this.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you deserve all this and more. Like, you know what I mean? So when you consistently have that type of mind state, you kind of almost like shortchange yourself and you're putting in to a point where it's just like you have a low ceiling.
Yeah.
Right? So like if I get rid of that, now I don't have any ceiling.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna lift off.
Let's go, bro.
So like, you know what I mean? And you know, I was telling you I used to do music. I put out 7 albums, you know. I went to school for audio engineering, like all that stuff. And like 7 years ago, I sold all my equipment, and I didn't do it no more. And the reason for doing that was because I couldn't rationalize spending the time, spending the money, spending that, you know, all that on that when I should be spending that on my kids or finding a way to create income for my family or doing whatever, you know. Little did I even really know at that time that was my therapy. Like, that was how I got through my days. That's how I released my anxiety, my stress, my anger, my joy, my whatever I was feeling. That's how I got it out.
Yeah.
Which if I can get that out, that means I'm not going to project that on my family.
There, you see.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're still benefiting from that, right? But, you know, I only learned that in hindsight, right? So I might get back to it one day or something like that, but in the meantime, I'm just trying to find other avenues to.
Yeah, it's like anything, man. It's like having fun. It's like, I got some toys over there, some RC cars and shit. I don't play them all the time, you know, or I buy some parts and like do the little, like last week I was doing like a little suspension and shit. And like, you know, my wife's like, you play with those toys? I'm like, yeah.
I see, like it's hard. Like you mentioned that, like it's hard for me to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. Like even, you know, even my wife told me the other day, she was just like, you know, you always feel like you have to earn some shit. Right. Like when you pray for strength and you pray for the ability to overcome and you pray for all this stuff. Why don't you just pray for like some things to go easy?
Easy flow.
Easy flow. And because she's like, you always like act like you have to earn some shit. Like
Mm.
you have to go through the mud to get to the, you know what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean? And I'm like, well, that's kind of because it's how it's always been for me.
yeah.
And she's just like, well, maybe that's because you always have that mindset. Like you like sometimes things can just, you know. And I'm like, man, that's so true.
Liftoff, bro. Let's go. That's
Yeah.
fucking dope. I love that. No, it's so true, man. I think that if anything, too, like equipment aside and everything, you still have. I mean, dude, these phones are so powerful, bro.
Right.
You literally could just take yourself an
Yep.
hour a day, and even if you like, honestly, what I like, get up extra early
Yeah.
when everyone's asleep,
Yeah.
so you don't feel like you know what I'm saying, and give
Hmm.
your from like 4 to 5, right? You
Yeah.
just give yourself an hour,
Yeah.
and you could just literally do your thing, write your music.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Put out a couple whatever, record a couple things, whatever you got
Right.
to do, and you could do it so simple, so
And
easy.
I feel like a dinosaur with a lot of that shit. I ain't gonna lie, because like
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really, I'm not tech savvy and stuff like that. Like that's why I ended up going to college to get audio engineering because
Yeah.
me and two guys I grew up with back home, we all did music, and we would go to these different studios. And one thing I hate is like people with like really inflated egos.
Yeah, yeah,
I can't stand that, especially if it's not warranted.
yeah.
Right. So we would go to these studios and these people are acting like the Dr. Dre or some shit. And it's like I'm not impressed, right? But it's like I gotta put up with your shit or learn how to do it myself.
Yeah.
So I spent, whatever the tuition was to go drive 90 miles north to go to college 3 days a week
Wow.
and learn how to do it myself.
Yeah.
And YouTube was around then, but it wasn't popping like it is now.
Oh yeah.
Like if it was like it is now, I'd have skipped all that and just learned what I got to learn off YouTube. And it's wild because like I used to go every Saturday over to this guy's house in Milwaukee
Mm-hmm.
that was actually a professor at the college I was going to,
Mm.
but he lived in Milwaukee and he also had his own studio. So when I would go out there to college,
Yeah.
we got cool when he was just like, all right, why don't you come by the house and record?
Yeah.
You know, I learned more from those sessions than I learned from the whole 2.5 years I went to college, right? So if I found a way to do that on my own and just skip going to college, and I ain't saying college is bad or nothing like that, but
Yeah.
if you can find a way to just, and nowadays we're in the information age, you can literally learn anything you want to do
Easy.
if you have the time and the effort and the will to want to learn it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna take your advice too, and I'm gonna just I'll probably instead of carving out in the morning, I'm a night guy, so I'll
Boom.
carve it out at night and just get off some of that stuff. And I, I got some other things I'm doing right now. I don't really want to speak on it because
Yeah.
I'm kind of superstitious in that way.
Yeah.
But like I got some other things I'm working on too that I'm lending my creativity to. So yeah, man. But that's definitely necessary. You got to find an outlet.
So 100% agreed. I love that. We just had liftoff right there because look, we're both moving forward and help each other through this
Yeah,
process of fucking this
for sure.
crazy thing we call life. There's a guy right now out there. His name's Steve. He's a rapping realtor,
Hmm.
and I can connect you on Instagram.
Hmm.
And he makes all these songs in the world of real estate that are like remixes. Could be Dr. Dre, it could be Eminem, could be whatever. And so he basically uses that for that. So I can imagine the possibility of you putting music out there because like I like everything being symbiotic.
Hmm.
So like say if I'm doing Liftoff Agent, I'm doing the podcast, I want the podcast to be sponsored by Liftoff because that's my main focus.
Right.
Right. If I'm doing the Airbnb thing, I'm already at home. I like to share experiences. Like my wife wants to promote her tea.
Hmm.
Her tea's promoted in both the rooms, like the
Right.
trailer and the room upstairs.
Mhm.
The fix and flip stuff is like, hey, like I'm not a licensed real estate professional, but I can relate to people that want to sign up for our services
And you know
because,
one.
yeah, exactly. Touche, touche. And so that's where it's just like, if you could potentially make it all kind of work together
Right.
and then do some music type shit
For
about,
sure. Yeah.
even if it was like the day in the life that's a rap that has to do with real estate from the perspective of like, all right, it was a Friday afternoon. I just went and shot over and showed a home, Superstition Mountain. Then I came through to a
Mhm.
podcast, ready to lift off with the liftoff experience. You know,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not even a lyricist, bro. So I'm not even gonna try
Right.
to go there. But you know what I'm saying? You could easily do something dope, bro.
Yeah, and I don't know if I mean, the whole idea is though, my content was always, a little bit more serious than that.
Okay.
But
I don't know your vibe, so I was just throwing
yeah,
it out there, but
yeah, no, I mean that would definitely be like along the lines of something I'd like to do.
yeah.
But like I think I got like 4 or 5 videos that I got still on YouTube.
Okay.
And then I have a YouTube channel that I set up and never even went back to that has my first 2 albums on it.
Do you remember the name?
Yeah, so the name I used to go under when I used to make music was Mike Esco.
Okay.
But like Mike was spelled like the abbreviation of a microphone,
Okay.
so it'd be MIC,
Okay.
and then Esco was ESKO.
Okay. And whoever's listening and viewing, I want you to go to his YouTube channel and tell him what you
Yeah,
think.
yeah. So I have my first 2 albums on there, and then I came out with 5 albums after that. And that was the thing too. Like so, for the longest time, I had my own website where you could go and download all my albums and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, see my videos and all that. And when I sold my equipment, I shut that down too. And I was just like, you know,
Mm.
I don't need this. I'm a different guy. I
Yeah.
don't want to be 40 years old talking about, hey, you hear my mixtape? You know what I mean? Like I don't want to, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And little did I know that like the real importance that that music had for me. Like,
Yeah.
like if it provided that therapy to me, and then like I thankfully before I sold all my equipment, I wrote a song specifically for my daughter, and I wrote a song specifically for my son.
That's dope.
And what my plan was is that my last album was going to be a album specifically just for both of them.
I love that.
And I was going to have like 9 to 11 songs specifically just for them. And unfortunately, another thing that led to me selling my equipment at the time was my computer crashed. And you know, that means now I gotta buy Pro Tools all over again, which is pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And then I gotta buy a MacBook all over again, and that's pretty expensive. At the time, my son had just been born, my wife wasn't working, and I had way too many expenses to sit here and play around with my hobby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I couldn't justify it. I couldn't justify continuing to do it. So that's why I got it, but like I said, I'm in a much better place right now. So I might be able to get back to
I got a MacBook Pro right here, bro.
That's what's up.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's that close to be able to just get right back to.
No, I know, and
You know what I'm saying?
I got a MacBook too. I got enough to have a whole setup now too. I got a new house that I can
That's what's up.
find room and everything like that too. So I probably should get back into it. You know what I mean? But it's like right now I'm focused on a lot of different things. But I'm good at multitasking, so I can.
Let's
See,
go.
I'm doing it even as I'm talking. Like I'm finding reasons to not do it. But it's like I got to get to it.
Exactly, 100%, man. Because at the end of the day, I remember different, but I can relate. I filmed 3 years of my life on YouTube. Everything.
Really?
I would just like vlog. Monday through Friday, I would vlog.
Mm.
And it would be, trials, tribulations. It was Project Entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like me going through each week. And then me and my wife, our proposal, the wedding, my daughter's birth. I got it all on YouTube.
Wow.
Like leaving Hayward, California, moving out here in the moving truck, everything. So, I can go back now and go see, Dad Jimmy, who's no longer with us, bless his soul. And it was a lot of fun, man. And I was like, yeah, I want to be this celebrity and do all this shit. And I just gave it up.
Man. I give you credit. That sounds super intrusive to me, man. Like I don't know if I'd be able to do all that. Like even doing this is a lot for me.
Yeah, I'm the opposite of you, bro. I put you on my stories. Everything's on my stories.
Wow.
I share everything all the time. Always like, and it's crazy because a lot of people say, oh, this and that and privacy and people and it's like, you know what, like if it's my time, it's my time. If someone wants to come in and it's like they have some intrusive negative energy they want to throw at me, like I don't know, man, I've done some crazy shit and for some reason higher self, God, energy, angels, whatever, I've been looked out for and I've been good. So I'm just gonna keep on keeping on and just stay to that path and
follow your faith, follow your soul, and just
exactly. And I feel like like you said, like if we're just here for a cup of coffee, maximize that opportunity and time.
Have some fun while you're at it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's another thing, man. That it's just I gotta start doing more of. It's just letting go and just have some fun and just what I mean, just enjoy this life, man. Because like I'm always like I don't know, man. I got it. And that's another thing. That's another reason why I started this masterpiece, right? Because like it all started from a quote that I read, right? Whereas a place of peace is a work of art.
And you're trying to live that.
And I'm trying to live that. So it starts with me, right? So that place of peace has to be
Yes.
this first, right?
Yes.
So, I'm a work in progress, always will be. But if I can find peace in everything that happens to me in every situation and every, thing like that, then I can be at peace, which means I can create peace in the world, right?
I
So
love
like
that.
that's the kind of vibe I'm on right now, and that's still super new to me
Yeah, yeah,
right
yeah.
now. Like it's still super new mantra concept that I'm applying to my life, man. But I feel like it's going to be probably one of the better ones that I've ever had because it'll point me in a direction that I've never been in.
Let's go, bro. Let's go. And that's what it's about. Like I look at life like I call it life by design. I
Mhm.
used to play a lot of Grand Theft Auto 5 and I
Okay.
would love that game, right? And then I remember my buddy got like he was playing online and some cheat code or some shit went down and he ended up getting like millions, right? So he could like buy all the cars and do all the things. And I'm like, well, fuck, man, my real life, I got a lot of shit popping. I got a lot of shit going on right now. So I want to focus on my real life. And then like he kept playing the game. And so we kind of like went different ways. Like he didn't even go to my like wedding and shit. And so, bittersweet. But for me, I've always been like, how can I set up my life in a way where everything is life by design? I just get to be able to like flow through it and just enjoy it
Mhm.
and it not be rigid. And I don't got to be like sitting at a desk all day, 9 to 5, sitting in traffic, all type of stuff. I kind of do sit at that desk a lot, but you know what I'm saying? Like just make it so it could be fun and not
Yeah.
have to be so it's so rigid. So many people out there, it's like, oh, let's plan our vacations
Right.
now.
Right.
Okay, it's this Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go out to the bar tonight. Okay, we're fuck hungover Saturday. Okay, we'll go out. It's like I don't know, man.
Right.
It's like life should be fun.
It should be.
You
It
know,
should be.
and that's why we the whole fix and flip put a little bit of fucking well stick in the spoke, if you will. But outside of that, everything else, like as soon as those are fucking gone, and I can just say it, they are gone. I'm just gonna put that out there and
There
manifest
you
that
go.
shit. They're
There you go.
gone.
Manifest it. There you
Manifest
go.
that shit.
There you go.
And that's where it's just like, hey, people want to come and hang out with us. Hey, Airbnb.com. We're online. Come hang out. Have some tea with us. You know what I'm saying? And the travel trailer, right? That shit pays for itself. I haven't paid one dime on the travel trailer. People coming to our house, enjoying it, has paid for itself. I didn't even pull out. I just put out a fucking personal loan. I got the title and the thing right there and everything. It's fucking
Yeah.
crazy. 2021
That's cool.
or 2022, flight Jacob, whatever. And it was like
Yeah.
brand new. Dude used it a couple times. And so that's what I'm about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can't wait to get our house up north so I can just be like, all right, you know what? I'm going to fucking drive up north and just work up there for the week or a day or two.
Yeah. That's what I want to do too. It's wild, man. If you ain't never been to up north Arizona, man, whole different world. It's wild because like I remember when I moved here, I drove from Milwaukee to here. I've driven from Milwaukee to here 3 times.
What does that drive like? How much
So
time it take?
all right, so the first time it was me and another guy, and we went straight through.
Okay.
The only time we stopped was for gas or food,
Wow.
and that was like I think 27 hours.
Damn.
And that's when we moved here, and then my wife and my daughter at the time flew out the next day or the day after that.
Okay.
But I remember driving out here, and it was in December, and we one of the first places I remember driving through was Payson, and I'm like, this is Arizona. Because like whenever I didn't know no different. Like whenever I thought of Arizona, I thought of like okay, corral, tumbleweeds,
Exactly.
like
That's what I
desert and
thought
stuff
too.
like that, right? So I'm driving through Pace and I'm like, this is Arizona. This is wild, man.
Beautiful.
This is gorgeous. This is beautiful. So that's my goal too, like a long-winded way of saying that's my goal too is just find a spot up north and just be away from everybody and just
Yep.
kind of, what I mean, be in a peaceful, serene environment. But also, we're also trying to, get like property in other countries and stuff like
That's what's
that.
up.
Like in March, we're planning on going back to Laos and Thailand,
Wow.
and we went there in 2019, and I wouldn't mind staying out there too, getting a spot out there. It's nice out there
You
too.
go to different countries, there's a total different vibe.
It
People
really
people have
is.
no idea. The United States of America is great, land of the free, a lot of opportunities, all the things. And then you go somewhere else and you're like, holy shit. Like, and you just see how someone like in the Philippines, people are like washing themselves out of a bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like dirt's in the streets,
Yeah.
dogs, cats running everywhere.
Right.
Like it's like the movie type shit. It's like no, it's real life
Yeah,
for
so we
them.
we were in Laos. I remember we were on this boat that was just docked, and it was like a restaurant kind of boat
Okay.
type thing. Nothing crazy nice, nothing, just regular, right? So right off it, obviously, like there's this little beach area, but it's not like tourist beach, like beautiful beach. It's like
Yeah.
grimy Mekong River beach, and then there's uh, like a house or a restaurant or whatever right off the beach. So the lady comes up and asks me what I want to eat, and so I'll have some chicken. She's like, all right, cool, chicken. So I look to the side. This guy's holding a live chicken. Bang! Hits it with a stick. About 45 minutes later, I got chicken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm watching outside of the window of this boat thing, and there's like these two young, probably like 8-year-old, 9-year-old kids, damn near butt naked, just wrestling around, rolling around in the sand, having the time of their life. Not a care in the world. You know what I mean? Just, dirty as hell and just loving life. And I'm like, man, this is it. This
Yeah.
is it. As simple as this whole vibe and scenario is right now, that's what we're missing. You know what I mean? How,
That's
how,
liftoff right
how
there.
much time out of your day do you think you spend in traffic? Or
Comment below.
going from one, yeah, comment below, going from one place to the next, or just, how much time out of your day is spent just not even doing anything you want to do? And like going from one destination to the next, or
Yep. One
whatever.
problem to the next.
One problem to the next, whatever. You know what I mean?
Bills. Yeah.
And man, can I get like just some simple time to just listen to that music I was talking about earlier.
Outside, just nature.
God's music, you know what I mean? And just enjoy life, man. Like that's my goal. That's what I want to do. The peace. You know what I mean? That's what I want to achieve.
Amen, man. Amen. 100%. And that's where I feel like back to like what I was saying, just like love,
Yeah.
just loving the simple shit, man. Loving taking a walk,
Yeah.
like, and it feel like if you and just anyone watching, viewing, whatever out there, like enjoy like putting on your clothes, enjoy combing your hair. Like I was, the book, she was just like, she like breathed, she was doing like the like 3 breaths, like, and then she like talks to her angels and shit. And she was just like, I gotta remember the exact story, but it was something like she was gonna comb her hair, and she said like, angels, like help me comb my hair. And she's like, it was so euphoric and felt so amazing to comb it, because we're just so, we're fucking, and me too, watching a fucking podcast or watching a YouTube video, and then I'm fucking getting my daughter's food ready and this and that, and like we're in multiple places at once. We're not in the now. We're not present.
Right.
And that's one thing I got to really work on, because I love my daughter, and just saying this out loud right now, I have to slow down myself too, and just take my fucking phone, put it down, and then as soon as I drop her off, okay, cool, now I can have my me time and not try to be in too many fucking places because I'm not being 100% present.
Yeah. My very favorite thing to do is hang out with my kids.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to do is, or my favorite thing to hear is, Dad, can we go to the park?
I love it.
From my son. Or, Dad, can I talk to you? From my daughter. I mean, that might get to a point where, like, hold on, wait, what are we talking about? But like just having those deep conversations with my daughter for like an hour and a half about life and about what she's going through, and trying to tell myself when to listen and when to give advice, and then all the different enthusiastic things that my son has, and it's just that's my favorite thing to do, and just being in the present, being in that now is so important. Like they always say, like, kids spell love Time. You know what I mean? So, like, knowing that and putting that into practice, and making that a necessity over everything is, where I'm at.
I love that, man. I love that. That's definitely a lift off moment. I got to say, to add to that, there's a lot of individuals out there that are older, right? And think to themselves, like, where's my kids? What's going on? I provided for them. I did this for them. I did that for them. They're MIA. But like you just said, time.
Yeah.
You can't expect time from your children when they're older if you didn't give that time to them when they're younger.
That's just going to reciprocate for sure.
You feel me? And that's where I feel like all of us need to slow down a little bit and be like, okay, how much time am I putting forth? And not just for, like, might not have kids out there. How much time putting just
for yourself?
For yourself?
And I don't do enough of that.
Yeah.
I really don't. I
Well,
don't
you're
get
not writing
time.
music, I know.
Well, that's part of it too, but like, even like getting enough sleep, or like, having a workout regimen, or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. And my wife doesn't either. And sometimes I gotta tell her, like, look, you need to go, on a girls trip, or you need to, like, you know take some time to go hang out with your friends, or you need to rest, or you need to
Yeah.
do whatever, like,
Yeah.
because this family is no good if you're no good.
Amen.
You know what I mean? And the same
Yes.
thing for me. And like, you know, I know I'm an asshole to deal with at home if 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 I'm not taking care of myself,
Yeah.
right? So it benefits everybody. You definitely take care of yourself too,
Yeah.
and like you said, and like slow down.
Yeah, you can't love anyone if you don't love yourself.
For
You
sure.
can't give other people time if you don't give time for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you did give other people time or love on other people, it's going to be kind of like half-ass. It's not going to be on 100%. And
Right.
that's why, I was so intrigued by doing this show because for me, we're on air, we're live. People are going to, hear this, they're going to watch it. Our, editing team, I've had a lot of feedback from them. They're like, I was inspired, or I learned this, I learned that. And like, this is like a therapy slash learning session.
Oh, for sure.
Like we're just having a conversation. We never met each other.
Uh-huh.
We might have some technology, some cameras and some shit around us, but like at the end of the day, we're gonna walk from this, and I mean, I know I am gonna be like, all right, I got some work to do.
So
These are the things
not
I'm gonna do.
not only that, but like I love building with people who are on same type of time I'm on,
Yeah.
right? Like I just love building with people, and talking with people and stuff like that, who I can bounce. I remember one of my favorite books I ever read is by Robin Sharma.
Hmm.
It's The Saint, the Surfer, and the CEO.
Hmm.
And it was so cool how I stumbled across this book. This was shit. I mean, this was probably damn near 20 years ago,
Wow.
or 15, 20 years ago, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
um I was getting my hair cut, and me and my barber at the time were talking about books, and he was just like, man, there's this book called, Saint Servant and CEO, you should check it out. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And then next time I come in to get my hair cut, he's got the book for me. And he's just like, dude, I'm gonna give you this book. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. He was like, only under one condition though. And I'm like, okay, cool. What's that? He's like, when you're done reading it, you have to give it to somebody else.
Ooh.
And I said, well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I write in my books, so I'm not gonna give it to somebody else. But what I will do is when I'm done, I'll buy it for somebody else.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so that's what I did. So I read the book, and then I bought it for like two or three other people. And it's just sharing wisdom with people and building with other people is something I cherish, man. Like
Amen.
I just love connecting with people that have, same type of time I'm on. And then, you know, not often, because sometimes it can get messy, but every once in a while, I like building with people who have completely different views than me,
Yeah.
and that's the thing too. I challenge people to do out there. Go read books that don't align with your innate way of thinking. Go read books that are completely opposite of what you believe in. Go watch, YouTube videos or movies, or talk to people that have completely different um, thoughts, views
Yeah.
than what you have, right? You might learn something, you know,
I love that.
and it's so powerful to do that, man. Because like, I grew up Christian, I grew up, a certain religion, and I started reading books on Buddhism. I started reading books on all these different religions, and Muslim religions, and all these different things, and you learn so much.
Yeah.
And these whole times you have these certain preconceived notions of people, and what they believe and what they're going through, and they believe in what they believe in just as strongly as what you believe in,
Yep.
right? So like, I challenge people to do that, man. Just go, do your homework, go, research, just, like you said before, operate out of love. Don't
Yeah.
operate out of judgment. Like, because if you operate out of love, then that means you're going to be more accepting and more willing to learn about. And we're talking about traveling too.
Yeah.
Like, you get your eyes open to a whole new world, and you realize that like what we got going on in your little bubble, or in your little city or state or country or whatever, that's just a small area of this whole thing that we're,
A part of.
cohabiting on.
Yeah.
I probably messed up that word, but
You're
whatever.
good.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just a small part of it, man. And we're, like I said, we're just passing through anyway. So,
Why not?
you know what I
Why
mean?
not go? That's
Right.
what I did. Vitz, work wife,
Yeah.
working for 4.5 years.
Hmm.
She was like, Mom, Dad, like the CEO of my company is coming to your house.
Hmm.
And I literally freaking, we went and did our trip, went to Bahal, came back, and which is like a 3-4 hour drive. So it was like 3-4 hour drive up to Baguio City, and then 3-4-5 hour drive over to their place. And they made us all traditional, like lumpia, the whole nine, Filipino food. The dad raises cocks. So he starts to bring out his cocks and he's like fucking doing cockfighting and shit for me. And then they have a case and they have these fucking metal talons they put on the end of the fucking cocks and they actually like these cocks fighting to the death and shit.
Mm.
And they're into all this betting and stuff. And he's just like, here's my fucking bike. And he's like so proud of his fucking little Vespa with his little sidecar thing. And
Yeah.
there's a shit ton of little motorcycles out there.
Yeah. That's the same thing with Laos.
Yeah, and the chickens and all that type of stuff. And I was
Yeah.
just like, it was cool, man. And like they just, and when we're on the trip, and then this is like the liftoff sign. I didn't even make this shit up. They're doing this like liftoff, and like they were so lit up,
That's
dude.
cool.
And then she posted on stories, and everyone, her friends were like, "Who's that guy? What is he doing in your house?" Yeah, and then they're like, "He did that."
And that's what I mean too. Like even when I was telling my story about my time in Laos, like the enthusiasm that you see from these people who have technically, or in like an American view, who have less than you,
Yeah,
right? So like possessions wise,
yeah,
right? Like we're so in this country, we're so stuck on possessions, right?
yep,
And what I came to find out when I'm doing my traveling is that like all these people who have less possessions are so much more happier. They're so much more happier. And it's like, my mother, she's been a nurse for like 40 years, like a labor and
yeah.
delivery nurse. Twice a year, she goes out to Kenya. She just got back a week ago. She goes
Wow,
out to Kenya. She's helping to set up a pregnancy crisis center out there for women who
wow.
don't have like the type of medical care that, obviously we have out here. And, so she would send me videos of like the kids in the villages out there and stuff like that. And I mean, these kids have like, no shoes, a stick, and a ball, and they are the happiest kids you've ever seen. Then you have kids in this country who you take away their cell phone and they're ready to like just throw a fit, or
Yeah.
their video games or whatever. And it's just like, you know, where do we shift off course? Like, you
Mm,
know what I mean? And not only that, but like how do we get back on?
yeah.
And I think some of that just goes right back to what we were talking about just a couple minutes ago, is just slow down.
Yeah.
Just slow down, man, and just take a second, enjoy like the simple things, man. And that's the type of time I've been trying to get back to, and hopefully I can get there. I think I can get there.
You could do it, bro.
Yeah.
If you believe Michael could do it, comment below. No, I think it's so true, man. It's definitely it's eye opening. I feel like the more we have, the more we make shit complicated. And the one thing that I love, and I bought about a year and a half ago my dream car. It took about 10 years before I got the GTR, and is now I just love sharing it. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to a car show, let someone sit in it, turn it on, rev it, 8, 9, 10-year-old kid, and just
Yeah.
lights up, dude. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? And it takes you back to that place. And it's like, that's why I like inviting people to the house to get on the podcast. That's why I like sharing with the Airbnb, because then you get contrast, and there's no better way to get challenged
Mm.
outside of a book or anything else
Mhm.
than fucking put one of your rooms on fucking Airbnb and let strangers in your fucking house.
Yeah, that's a challenge I ain't willing
That
to
is
take
a
up.
extreme challenge, bro. We were in fucking the Philippines, dude,
Yeah.
and Julia watches our house. And Julia, God bless you, if you're watching this right now, I appreciate you. And she does not like confrontation. She's like very just kind of like in her own thing, doing her own thing. So she watches our cats, whatever. And we get this booking, right? And let's go back to the Airbnb because helping with the lot rent, and we got these two properties and shit.
Right.
So it's like, oh, cool, $1,200. If people want to stay 10 days, but it's like a whole Mexican crew.
Mm.
Right. And so next thing you know, my neighbors are calling me, there's like a bunch of people at your house. I'm like, well, like 4 people max upstairs. And we come back, dude, and like literally the fucking kitchen is just like there's fucking like pots and pans with food in it. There's fucking just shit all the living room. They're using the Zen room upstairs plus the other room. And like I had to literally come home and be like, yeah, this is my house. Like I had to like take my house back after like
Right.
25 hours of traveling
Yeah.
and having like no sleep. My wife is like, she basically passed the fuck out. And I'm like literally translating on my fucking phone with this Hispanic dude who don't speak no English about parking across the fucking street and please don't leave your car in front of the small garage because that's my truck and I use it every day. Dude, it was like super challenging, bro. And to come from love, you know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't be coming from love.
Oh, dude, I was having a hard time too, bro. I was having a hard time. I went upstairs, gave him both a firm ass handshake, dude, and like I told him exactly what was up. And I think that it was a couple younger dudes, a middle aged guy, and an older gentleman. Older gentleman is the guy I was like doing the translating with, and the younger guys, I'm pretty sure they spoke English, and they got it after it was all said and done, and everything was like tightened up and everything else afterwards. But it was just like, man, because like usually when we're here, we attract hella good ass people. And then when we leave, I don't know if it's some type of energy type shit or whatever, but we always get some interesting situations when it's just Julia. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like your vibe creates your tribe, and like where your attention, where your attention goes, your energy flows, and then you can expand on fucking the negative or the positive, right? And so I don't know if she was attracting some type of shit, but yeah, dude.
I don't know. I'll give you credit. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, it was hard.
Definitely wouldn't be able to do that. That's a challenge I'm not up for.
It was hard, bro.
Yeah,
it was hard.
I'll find a different. I'll find a different challenge. I ain't up for that one.
I mean, honestly, you know, we don't need that. Like, we don't need to Airbnb the fucking room inside this house. So, like, that's not something that's like a need. I started when I first started my company. Master bedroom, futon. I would make it every single day, and then I'd have people come to my house, and it would be like just like, and you know, now I'm in this room, but thank God my room's upstairs now. But basically, yeah, I'd bring people to the house, and then I would have like a roommate. He would submit the income, and like that's just what I was used to. And the wifey never had roommates ever. Yeah. And so when I moved in with her, we rented out one of the rooms to get some extra cash flow, and just went down that process. And so now, you know, we're gonna do an ADU in the backyard, and as soon as that's up, then it'll just be out there and probably just a travel trailer. We probably won't have people inside moving forward, you know, coming up here soon.
We're trying to do the ADU too.
Yeah, we're right there with you, bro.
Yeah, if you have any resources, let me know.
I got a file on my tablet that I've already I can get you some phone numbers and shit like that.
Yeah, I would appreciate that because my wife and my mother went to like a spot in Goodyear like a month ago or a month or two ago. They had like a whole warehouse where like they had like ADUs that they build there and stuff. Nice. Like that. Yeah, so they were checking them out there, but I always like to have like a few different options.
Dude, give me that contact information too, because that's where we're at right now. I'm just like, fuck. I'm like, all right, let's just, because it's cash flow. Whoever's out there listening, like, it's cash flow, right? Yeah. And like for you, it's like next transaction, but you got to have cash flow. Absolutely. And so that's where like the Airbnbs and stuff like that gives us cash flow. Right. And then you have to have like an LLC or S corporation with cash flow. So then you can get like, say, if you want to get a loan, you got to show that you got money coming in. Right. And so even though we did like $200,000-300,000 last year, we only got that little working capital loan I told you about. They gave us like $6-7 grand. Yeah. They gave us jack shit. Right. Because we didn't have a lot of cash flow. Okay. It was just like, oh, here's fucking $100,000. Okay, here's 50,000. And it was just like these big lump sums, but not a lot of continuous cash flow. Right. So this ADU, not the ADU, the travel trailer, this is our first full season. So that's 4 months up. Right. And so we're gonna go through a full season. And then speaking of cash flow, here's a little hack for you all. Toro. My mother-in-law went out to Malaysia. So Dad Jimmy, who we lost, his husband, so Dad Jimmy's wife is Malaysian. Okay. And so she went back to Malaysia, gave me her car. It was just like a brand new HRV Honda little SUV. I put it on fucking Toro. She was cash fucking flowing, bro. So I said, hey, honey, I want to go get one of those cars. She said, go do it. And like the best month's like $2,000 a month. I'm like, there's cash flow. Hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? And if $2,000 from getting a car that costs what, $4,000 down, $300 or $260 a month, and then you can make $2,600 a month, and that $2,000 can go $1,000 for that lot rent, $1,000 for that lot rent, and then because I want things to be self-sufficient too. I hate trading my personal time,
and that's what I'm trying to get out of right now.
You feel me?
Yeah, that's what. See, because like I was raised with that. Like I was raised.
So was I.
Yeah, I was raised like work hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This and that, and I mean it's been hard for me to try to escape that. You know what I mean?
And separate yourself from that fucking.
So I think it was my fourth album was called Ambition to Ammunition. Ugh. And I talked about that a lot on that album, like trading hours for dollars. In fact, on my second last album, which was Rhymicidal, I had a song on there called Working Man. And talking about like trading hours for dollars and stuff like that, and how the you know, in this culture nowadays, we look down on the working man. Like, you know,
Yeah.
if you ain't an entrepreneur, if you ain't a hustler, nothing like that, you get looked down upon.
Yeah.
Which, like, I get it, I understand, but like, you know, you still need that good hard work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I think every man who's physically capable should like do construction or like do a really hard labor job at some point in their life. You know what I mean?
Just
Because
in
like,
contrast.
because like now, you know, I show houses and I you know, I'm in these beautiful houses and I'm helping people achieve their home ownership goals and I love it and it's super rewarding. You know what I mean? But so is, you know, roofing somebody's house,
Mm-hmm.
providing, you know, you could step back and be like, yeah, I did that. You know what I mean? I helped out their house, you know, or, you know, building a house for somebody or, you know, fixing their plumbing or whatever. All that stuff is super necessary.
Yep.
And I feel like we're kind of going away from that, you know, but like, you know, we need that.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, you know, it's super important to like still focus on that good hard
I
work.
love it. And
But also be like, you know, you can still be on the entrepreneur side
of
too.
course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
So this is where I'm at. Have leverage from cash flow
mhm.
to learn to build your own shit.
Yeah,
You feel me? Like I had the
yeah.
GTR and I was like, fuck, GTR tax is real, bro. Shit's
Hmm.
expensive from
Hmm.
parts and then labor.
Sure.
So then I did everything myself.
Yeah,
I literally like I got a 10.5 inch Tesla screen,
sure.
and I said I'm gonna put this shit in myself.
Yeah,
And I recorded it and I
yeah,
put it on YouTube. I got thousands of views, and
yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh, thanks so much. This is super helpful," because there
Yeah.
wasn't shit online to help me with that.
Okay.
And then I did the steering wheel, and then I
Right.
fucking took off all the rims and tires, and I did the calipers, and I did the center fucking on the thing, all red and black, and everything else. And I put the tire stickers on, and I got it's time to lift off on the tires, the lift off agent on the back, little wings, so I can get some subliminal messages when you mark it, when you scan it and shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Dope. I
like,
like that.
so I swapped it and said, well, fuck, how can I do what you do? Like you're saying, like go get your hands, because I did that shit. I worked construction, and then I was in
I
the
did too.
union,
I did
and
too.
then I was in the fucking ditch. I remember I was digging a fucking in this ditch, and I had the foreman up there staring at me and shit. I was trying to have a conversation with this dude, and I couldn't even understand him.
Hmm.
He's like slurring and this and that and thing and that, and I literally got so far before I quit. I was like, I'm done. Like I can't. Like I need more stimulation than this shit, bro. Like
Sure.
yeah, I
Yeah.
might be getting strong or some shit from digging this hole, but I can't even have an intellectual conversation with this dude. He's like slurring his words. I don't even know what he's trying to say to me. So that's
Right.
why I kind of just said, no, I'm good. But I agree with you. You should.
I mean, I did roofing for 6 years. I did basement waterproofing. I did all kinds
Damn.
of, you know what I mean? I did all kinds of hard labor. And to be honest with you, like looking back on it, I loved it.
I did too.
I loved it.
With
Like,
these fix and flips, I was in the
yeah,
same shit.
I loved it. And like even now, I still volunteer for Habitat for Humanity every once in a
Really?
while. Yeah,
That's what's up.
I'll go in there and like help with their demolition projects or something like that.
Demo. I mean, come on.
And you, well, right. And you talk about getting out some aggression. You talk about like getting like,
Give me
you
that
know,
sledgehammer.
yeah, like you putting up with some bullshit or whatever, like throughout your day or something like that, and you're carrying that anger, that aggression on you. Okay, cool. You know, go do some demolition, man.
It's a
Yeah,
lot of fun, dude.
yeah, man, it's a lot of fun, and it's purposeful too. So it serves a couple different
You know what's crazy that you say that, because when I grew up, I had a stepfather whose name was Anthony, and so he would live in these houses that he basically would live for free,
Mhm.
because they were fucking construction sites and they're like fix and flips.
Mhm.
So it'd be in these houses, and like we had like no hot water. You know what I'm saying? Trying to take a shower in fucking cold water. Sometimes electricity wouldn't be on. Not an ideal place to be living. It was myself, my younger brother, my mom, and Tony. And basically, I just remember like it was always these unfinished fucking projects. So as
Mm.
soon as I got into the fix and flip, and then I started getting my hands dirty, and then I can finish the project, it
Right.
was like so. I was so just gratified. I was like, yeah, I got this shit done. Like, got the back. I did the backsplash. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And toilets install, or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? Or the demo like you're talking about. And it was just like, fuck yeah, it was funny.
I think having the courage to fuck up on some shit
Yeah,
is huge too. And like, you know, kind of like you, I was raised by a woman, so like I didn't have a father to teach me how to do none of this shit. You know what I
no,
mean? So like, you know, having the courage to be like, all right, well, I'm gonna try and, you know, like you said, you know, do the work on your car or, you know, in the house or whatever, and just having the courage to be like, all right, if I fuck it up, that's okay. Like,
yeah,
but I can, you know, I can figure it out.
figure it out.
Figure it outable.
If
You know what I
I
mean?
everything in this room is figurable. I'm fucking made that shit. I built that shit, put a hole through the wall, and fucking wired that. This
Nice.
wall I just painted because the white, so we should do something darker. You see the gold flake?
I hate painting.
We fuck. I hate paint too. But it's all fucking gold flakes. She
Oh
found
shit.
out you could put fucking gold fucking flake or whatever, like
in
in
the
the
paint?
paint. Yeah, and it's fucking like looks like
That's
straight.
cool.
Yeah,
Because I wanna paint my garage too, so maybe I'll do that in the
yeah.
future.
You literally just look it up, and it's fucking like it's for epoxy paint, and it's just like a fucking glitter, and
Yeah.
you just put it in a bunch.
Yeah.
And then what I did was I'll get like one of those like the backside like of a sponge, SOS, and
See,
you like
that's where
rough it up.
that's where I've gotten to in my life is shopping for glitter for my paint. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at in my life. I never thought I'd be on a podcast talking about shopping for
We're
glitter.
shopping for glitter and
Put in
shit
my
for paint, bro.
Yeah, that's where we're
What's
at
up,
in my
Jacob? Oh shit. But it's cool like that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And like even with the podcast setup, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And then Jacob behind the scenes over here, he came in here. It was hilarious. He came in, he's all, what the fuck? Like I'll show you after we get off air. My little mixer was this little fucking and I used to have these things wired together and shit because I didn't have different channels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like he was just like, bro, you need to get this mixer. So I got this mixer and they were fucking with the cameras. And then I had to get the new laptop because that laptop wasn't working so good on OBS. And then I just got the new, I was hoping they're going to be here for our show, but I got the cameras coming. And they come tomorrow and they're Wi-Fi enabled and shit. And you could fucking stream and it's all like Wi-Fi enabled. So,
Shit.
so we'll see what's up. You know, always just leveling up the process. But I'm excited about hearing your glitter and the paint story, bro, after you get your shit all
I'll
done.
definitely let you know about my glitter story.
This guy's fucking glitter in the paint. I love it, man. I love it. But dude, I gotta say, like, this has been awesome because it's been a situation where, like, I don't know, man. I love speaking of, like you said, like pick up a book, something that you wouldn't read.
Yeah.
I like having podcasts with someone that you don't even know.
Yeah.
And you don't know if you could just get real awkward. We're fucking recording and shit. And you're like, I'm just trying to get this podcast done, bro. I need content. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's actually been like a true pleasure, bro. It's been a pleasure doing this shit with you, man. You know?
Thank you for having me, man. This is great.
Of course.